Good morning and welcome to the Pondering Show here on WKUR-FM, your country road. I'm your host, Doug Ponder, and I'm coming to you live here at the Don Franklin Chevy Buick GMC studios in good old Renfro Valley, Kentucky. Well, it's great to finally be on the mend and feeling better again. Like 3/4 of the people in Rockcastle County, I've been sick this past week. Yeah, a lot of people in the county, we've all been hacking and snorting around everywhere. It's no wonder we're all sick. Anyway, finally broke down and went to the doctor. I don't know about you, but for me, it's hard to find time to go to the doctor. Between my procrastination and being a hypochondriac, I just don't have time. But that must not be the case for a lot of people because the waiting rooms at the doctor's office are always full. And it seems like the people in there have every sickness known to man. I went to the doctor with a sinus infection the other day and came out of there with bronchitis, the flu, leprosy, and Ebola. But us Rockcastle Countyans aren't the only people struggling with the sickness in our county. Sources say the Oregon Ducks football team lost the national championship on Monday night because a lot of their players had severe sinus infections. In case you haven't heard, the Ohio State Buckeyes blew out the Oregon Ducks 42-20 in the college football national championship. If you think about it, the Ducks losing because they were sick, it only makes sense. It was the only college football championship game where a team with a third-string quarterback beat the team with a Heisman-winning quarterback. You don't have to be a football analyst to figure out that scenario isn't quite right. Now, Ohio State Buckeyes head coach Urban Meyer was worried about his players catching something from the contaminated Ducks players. Before the game, Meyer asked the referees if they would spray Lysol on the football after every play. They say the Oregon Ducks football team was so sick, even the poor Duck mascot was feeling under the weather. Puddles, the Ducks mascot, had to blow his beak so much during the game that he went through a whole box of Kleenexes before halftime. Poor Puddles, and hopefully he gets on the mend soon too. But as a precautionary measure here, we've Lysol'd everything down, and we have a good show ahead of us today. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about an ever so controversial topic of should students work and be heavily involved in after-school activities while they are in school. So you won't want to miss this show, and don't go away. Welcome back to the Pondering Show here on WKUR 94.9, your country road. We are coming to you live here at the Don Franklin Chevy Buick GMC studio here in Renfro Valley. Now, our guest this morning is a well-known young man here in Rockcastle County. Not only is he a senior at Rockcastle County High School, but he's also a musician, radio personality, the list goes on and on, as he has an extensive resume for he hasn't even graduated high school yet. So, Avery Bradshaw, it's an honor to have you in the studio, and thanks for coming in.
Yeah, well, it's good to be down here, Doug. I appreciate you inviting me to come down to the little Pondering Show we got going on here.
Right.
I listen just about every Saturday that I'm awake. Sometimes I have to sleep in, but
we might have to push it back a bit, maybe the moon or something for you.
No, I really do enjoy the show, and it's an honor to be here.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate
Yeah, hey, and I'm glad to have you in because I know that you're going to put a lot of input in on this topic here.
Well, I think I have quite a bit to put in on it.
Yep, and in case y'all don't know, what we're going to be talking about is should students work and be heavily involved in after-school activities while they're in school? And this topic is very touchy, but we're going to talk about every angle of this topic, so because people have differing opinions. And I think mostly everyone agrees that a well-rounded K through 12 education is important, but some people think students should work and be involved in after-school activities, and some don't. And there's a huge difference, but we're going to also talk about what's best for each student's future and, is best for them as individuals and help them, in their future on resumes and, jobs, graduate school, or whatever it may be. So, but before we get into all that, let's talk about you, Avery, because you come to my mind when I thought about this topic. And the fact is, like I'd mentioned before, you have an extensive resume already and you haven't graduated high school. So in your high school career, tell me what all you have been involved in as far as after-school activities and where all you have worked.
Well, I've had quite a few different jobs, I guess, while I've been in high school, mainly in the the entertainment industry. Yeah. I guess I started playing banjo at kind of a young age and picked up a few other instruments along the way, and that's helped me a lot with my career path through through high school there. But mainly, I've been involved in just playing music with bands and with certain people. I've worked down here at Renfro Valley. Mm-hmm. I've been in the entertainment part of the valley for I guess this would be my 4th year.
Wow.
Coming on.
So that is your whole high school. 'Cause you've been in high school 4 years too. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I may have played down here when I was in middle school some too.
Wow, that's amazing.
Seems like a long time ago. I got started down here. I started playing at the Harvest Festival that they have over there in the field.
Okay, yeah.
Every year, and it kind of just went from that, And,
well, cool.
So that's what I've done for the most part, and I've had a few other little odds and end jobs. I kind of I help my papa farm sometimes, and
hey, and that's hard. That's good hard work right there.
Yeah, so I do at least do some honest work sometimes.
But that's what they would say. I know what you mean there. That's what people would tell us. Yeah,
that's definitely the stereotype that entertainers don't have to work. But that is not true. I am here to tell you.
Oh, I know. Yep, and definitely, and since you've been at Renfro Valley, you've been part of several shows like the Christmas show, and you've had your own show, and been a part of several other different shows they've had here too.
Yeah, I've been able to take part in a lot of different varieties of shows. I've been on pretty much all the bluegrass shows and the country shows that we've had down here, but I was also on the 50s show. And that was a little bit different.
Yes, yeah.
And I got to play guitar on that one.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of the people from the community saw that one. Had my big pink guitar and played it.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that.
Kind of a novelty, I guess.
Yeah.
But, and I also had the opportunity to have my own show called Slim Pickens.
Yes.
And
okay.
Slim, that is my stage name.
Okay.
And that's kind of my entertainment name, I guess. And
it's kind of went to your nickname, too, now.
Yeah, a lot of people call me Slim, and that's okay. I answer to it.
And you should never gain weight, because that would just totally probably get rid of that, wouldn't
it? It would probably make it even funnier, really.
Yeah, it would make it funnier, yes.
No, but with that Slim Pickens show, I had the opportunity to be able to plan, to learn what goes into planning your own show.
Okay.
And all the work that really goes into it, putting a band together.
Yeah.
And trying to make it, a show that people would want to pay for to see, because in the end, that's what matters, is what the people think.
Oh, yes. It's all about your audience, and you got to hit your target audience and what they want, so they'll keep coming back.
And that's the business part of it, a lot, not just getting people there.
That's right.
But the people have to have a good time while they are there.
Oh yes, yeah.
And if I'm going to pay $15 for a ticket, I want to have a pretty good time.
Yes.
That's kind of the way that I look at it, and that's what I tried to do with that show, and I believe we were successful with that. We had a good show. It was a small show. We never had over 250 people, but the people that were there all had a good time. I never got a negative comment.
And that's what matters.
Yes.
Yeah. And see, what amazes me, and like we mentioned about this topic, you've got all this experience, you've learned all this at such a young age, which is very valuable. And we'll get deeper into that as the show goes on, as the questions go on. But that just amazes me. And now, what's some of the after-school activities you've been involved in?
Well, since I've been down here at Renfro, I haven't had much time to be involved in too many school activities. But I am in the FFA, and I do some stuff with them.
Yeah.
And I'm in Unite, obviously. I've done a lot of speeches and work with them over the few years. I actually got a scholarship through them.
Yes.
And appreciated that a lot. I've done a few things, but mainly, with the FFA and Unite. And, Teenage Republicans,
Yeah, we're both smiling right now because we both know why you got to be in that.
Yeah. I don't know if Mr. Burton's listening. Right. But
but it's like you said, you've been so busy with down here. It's just it's hard to be more than in two places at the same time.
Well, it's like working a full-time job for me down here. Really.
Yeah, and that's true. And tell me, as you started, and you kind of mentioned how you kind of picked up banjo and lessons and stuff, and What got you interested in those things or involved in the things that you do now with that?
You know, it's funny. I've thought a lot about it, about what got me interested in music, like the very first thing.
Yeah.
You know, and the best answer that I could come up with was I heard that song by Montgomery Gentry one time, and it was called My Town.
Yes, okay.
Remember that song?
Yeah.
That was an older one, but I heard that song and I said, "Well, I'm going to play that."
Oh.
And that's the best answer, I guess, that I can give. That's as far back as I can remember as far as like thinking about music.
Wow.
You know, and at that time I didn't know how to play anything, and I don't know why I picked up banjo first to play that song, but anyway, somehow I ended up with banjo. I took lessons from Spencer Benj.
Yeah.
I know you know Spencer.
Oh yeah, thank the world of Spencer.
He's a really good guy. He's a saint, to tell you the truth.
Yes.
What he did for me was nothing short of a, I don't know, but I was a terrible student, though, is what I'm getting at. I never practiced.
You know,
at all.
he's told me we talked about you several times, and it's all been good. I just want to go ahead and throw that out. He said that like you said, at first it's like you didn't have the interest, but then it's just like you clicked and you just loved it. You know, and he's always proud of you every time he ever talks about you and stuff. And
I love Spencer to death.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy. Yeah, you know, for a lot of years there, I didn't enjoy it at all. You know, it's kind of like when parents make their kids go take piano lessons or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was at with banjo.
Well, it's just trying different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got that banjo for Christmas one year, and one day I think I was in 7th grade, and I was sitting in class, and I don't know why, but I just got to wanting to play that thing.
Yeah.
And so I went home and I played it, and about every day since then I've played about an hour a day. Or something.
Wow, that's amazing.
But I don't practice as much as I should right now. But there for a while, you know, I probably played 3 or 4 hours a day. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. But I guess it just clicks, you know, eventually with everybody.
Once you find something you love, which I know you love, it clicks. And it's like you said, you can't get enough of it. You don't want to put it down. You know, you don't want to quit. Yeah. And that's great. And with your experience as far as working and stuff, do you believe you've gained more, I guess what they would call life experience, such as time management and prioritizing schedules and all that good stuff, you know, by working and doing, you know, activities, you know, while you're in school?
Oh, yeah. I mean, some people may not agree, but about the prioritizing thing with music, because, you know, a lot of people don't see that as a priority. Yeah. But to me, that is a priority because, you know, that is probably what, you know, something that I want to do in the future.
Yep.
And you know, with the music industry, it's really strange because you got to get in early or you won't get in at all.
That's true.
You know. Yeah. So, you know, I've worked really hard trying to do that and get a name out there.
It's a big networking thing, like you just said. It's a name thing.
Yeah, it really is. And you got, you know, you make connections along the way, and people learn your name, and that, you know, that's kind of how it takes off. Not saying that, you know, I'm not out to like get famous, but I would like to have a career, you know, if I could. You know, at least playing in a large band or something like that.
And you could, and you should keep those dreams and work toward them. And you've definitely got a great head start. You know, obviously.
Well, I mean,
you know,
I don't know, but you know, it's something I really enjoy, and that's why I prioritize it. Now, as far as like time management, some people would agree I'm not the best time manager.
Well, I think that's a guy thing. Yeah. Girls will get on the guys for that anyway. Yeah.
What will take me 30 minutes might take somebody else a minute.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm that way too. Yeah.
I'm pretty laid back and slow about things.
Me too.
I don't get in a rush much.
Me too. I know exactly what you're talking about. But it's like you mentioned, with being in high school, you know, working and stuff down here, it has taught you to be in time. You know, show up on time.
Oh yeah.
Be early, and you know, and that's important for students to learn. I don't think nobody could say, well, no, they should not learn that. You know, I think everybody can sit there and nod their head to that. You know? And
well, you know, a lot of people they're late, you know, to everything. Or something.
And be late to their own funeral.
Yeah, really. and they might not even make it. Yeah,
that's right. They still wouldn't make it.
And that's not a way I can be. I have to be early to things. You know? I can't be late. It bothers me internally. For some reason, I'm just programmed not to be late to things.
Yes. Or it throws you off. I know what you mean there.
Yeah.
It throws me off too.
Yeah. But, I understand that other people, may not have that priority, so I try not to get mad, at people that aren't.
But you're
early.
laid back, so I know what you mean. We're laid back anyway, so we don't, get mad about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something you just can't worry about, because if you do, you'll worry yourself to death.
You worry yourself to death anyway. Exactly. Well, and has, working and stuff, has that helped you figure out your different interests? You've done mention several different things you've done. Has that helped you figure out, and you done touched on this, what you want to pursue as a career? And you've already touched on that. But how has that helped you out?
Well, working has definitely helped me with that a lot, because I've got to have the experience of doing it. I mean, of I guess living the entertainer's life. I don't know if that's a good way to put it or not, but that's kind of what I've done for the past 4 years, I guess. Especially this last year down here at Renfro. See, I have another passion, I guess, or career path that I would like to go down.
Yeah.
Audio. That's
okay.
I ran the part of the sound in the old barn this year.
Okay.
And, that was my main job this year. That's what kept me really busy, and that's something that I really, really enjoy.
And it's the audio and technical side of stuff.
Yes, the production side.
The production, yes.
Yeah, and I really, really enjoy that. And in fact, I'm starting up my own little sound company, and I'm going to do some sound for some small bands or bigger bands. I've got enough PA equipment to do that kind of stuff, and got my trailer and everything ready to go.
See, and you can market it and really get out there.
Yeah,
with it.
and I'm doing, I'm starting a little DJing business and stuff like that. So
well, cool. And see, and that comes back to our topic. You've been involved in all these different things, and you've narrowed down what you're interested in.
Oh yeah,
and that's helped you. And see, that's what all my life I've heard that too. Try different things when you're going through high school or school in general, because that's the time to do it.
Yeah.
If you're not interested in farming and FFA, well, hop over to something else.
Yeah.
But still try different things. And once you find that niche, once you find that thing you love, it's like you mentioned with music, you can't put it down. Then pursue it.
There's there's something for everybody.
There is.
Everybody is good at something.
Yes, I agree.
And I think a lot of people don't spend enough time trying to explore that to find out.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of those things. I used to give music lessons a lot.
Well, great.
And a lot of the students that I had, they, I could tell they were really interested in it. But, some of them were and some of them weren't. They just,
They were just kind of there because, like you mentioned before, our parents made them or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. They're falling asleep during the lesson and all that good stuff. But, that just kind of goes back. Everybody's good at something. Yeah. And, I think everybody should explore what they're good at. And in high school, it's a really good time to do it.
It is. Yes.
It's a time where you've got a lot of time on your hands, besides homework and stuff like that. So it just makes a really good time to find out what you want to do.
That's right. You don't have the life responsibilities of family, the bills, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You can explore different things. You're still young, and that's the time. And I think that's the part where we need to encourage students to do more of, because that's their time to find what they love to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree with you on that for sure. Yeah. And by doing all this, by working like you have, being in front of all these people and stuff, has that helped you be more confident, in your abilities or in your just being in front of a crowd?
Oh, yeah. When I can remember people telling me, I don't really remember too well about it, but the first show that I played down here at Renfro, I just kind of walked out onto the stage and looked down, and I never even looked out apparently.
Yeah.
And I played my song and I just left. I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. I just played. So and now I get out there and act crazy, and I don't really think much of it. So I guess over time you grow. As far as being in front of people, it gets a lot easier. Now I don't really think anything of it. There's sometimes if I get in a venue that I don't really know anybody there.
Yeah,
that kind of makes me nervous.
Throws you off a little bit.
It really does. We've got a show in I can't remember Hamilton. No, anyway, it's somewhere in Ohio.
Yeah,
coming up on February the 13th or 14th, something like that. And every time that we go up there, it makes me nervous to play in front of those people because I don't go there much.
Yeah,
and it's kind of just a strange place to me.
It's a different state.
Yes,
and it's just different. I know what you mean. Yeah. And but you touched on something there I think is important. It's the experience. It doesn't matter if it's music. It doesn't matter if it's sports. Playing in front of big crowds or not. The more you do it, obviously, if you take a football player, for instance, their first game in front of a big crowd, they're kind of like you went out on stage. They freeze up. And they'll do horrible. Might be as talented as they can be, but they'll do horrible. But then as they grow, they get better. And that's so golden when people are young. I think.
Yes.
And that's the thing we need to touch on, in my opinion.
Yeah. I used to get really nervis in front of people. I played basketball, like in the little leagues, I guess, or whatever.
The Pee Wee leagues.
Way back in elementary school, and I was terrible. I was terrible, but I can remember playing, and I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And that hindered me from really wanting to play, and do good.
Yeah.
Because I was so worried about what other people were
That's
watching,
right.
Yeah. And I think if people can get out of that mindset, that's a really good thing that'll help you.
That's right. Because some of the best sports, athletes and stuff, when you talk to them, they don't even know anybody's out there. They don't even focus on that. They don't even care where they're at.
Yeah.
They're focused on what they're doing in the game, what's going on.
Yeah.
And I wish the UK players would do that, bless their heart. But that's a lot of their problem right now. We're talking about right now too, in my opinion. But but it's like I said, when you're young, that experience is golden. All that stuff's golden to learn at that time.
Oh yeah, I mean it's an experience that everybody should do, and
younger the better.
Yeah, really, it is. I mean, because your brain, I guess, is still developing. I mean, I don't know much about this kind of stuff. I might be saying something wrong here.
No, because that's true.
But while you're you're developing, if you get out of that mindset, then I guess it'll develop another way. I don't know.
Yes.
But you want to get out of that nervous feeling, even like giving speeches in front of people, which I've done quite a bit of that too.
Yeah.
And that used to make me really nervous, but now it doesn't bother me.
Now you're focused on what you're talking about. You don't even care who's out there.
No.
That's,
and it's all about getting the message across.
That's exactly right.
Even in music, you want to put a good performance on, and if somebody sees that you're nervous, that kind of
hinders things.
It hinders it more than anything, really, to me.
Because you want to make that impact. It's usually an emotional impact with music. So a lot of times, sometimes not. But it depends.
But back to the base question, I guess. It's something that people should really focus on. I believe anything, in anything that you do, you should be able to get up in front of people and feel confident.
Yes. And the more you do, the more things you try in life, the more confidence you build in yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And that's true. And we'll touch on this real quick before we go to a break. As far as the social aspect of things, I've heard this argument before. Well, students get social skills in classrooms. That's enough, isn't it? But not necessarily true. There's the social skills in classrooms are different from social skills at workplaces or sports or clubs. So touch on that a little bit.
Well, I mean, that getting your social skills just from school, that idea to me is just crazy.
Yeah.
For one thing, in class you can't talk.
Well, that's true.
So maybe you learn to be quiet and around everybody.
You learn not to be social.
Yeah. But you learn a certain amount of social skills from school.
Yeah.
people, they'll learn to talk to each other and how to make friends a lot in school. But now there's a different type of relationship that you won't make in school that you can't make anywhere else other than working. That's a professional relationship.
Exactly.
People that you work with are a lot different from people that ride around with you all the time and hang out.
Exactly.
They may be your friends, but they're not your friends, if that makes sense.
Yep, it does. Yeah. Yep.
Working with people is just it's a whole lot different from being best friends with Johnny or something. You have a boundary with people that you work with, and you're friendly and you're nice and respectful, just like you are to everybody else. But you have to learn where that line is and not to cross it. And because it's hard to be close friends with people that you work with, because I have found, especially in entertainment, that it is almost disastrous to be really, really good friends with somebody that you play music with.
Yeah, I know where you're going with that. Yeah,
because I guess egos start coming into play there, and you just need to have that certain amount of space. I respect you, you respect me. We play, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really, really important thing, especially in the music business, because if you lose that respect for each other, then everything's gone.
Everything's going down the tubes at that point.
Really.
Yes. And that's so true. And you touched on it there. And that argument of students get their social skills in the classroom. Like you just said, it's only so far.
Yeah, you can't get that many social skills from school.
Or in school, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get the basic ones.
Yeah,
I would say, but there's so much more that can be learned in the world.
Exactly. And the earlier you learn those things, the better. And that's the one side of the argument, and we're going to get into the other side here after the break. But the one side argument, when we're in high school and definitely college, yes, school's important. Yes, studying's important, learning's important. But, this side of the argument, working's important too with those social skills, feeling confident.
Oh, yeah.
And all that. So, and it's totally different from feeling confident in studies or social skills in school.
Yeah.
So there's a total difference there. So that's that side of the argument.
Yeah.
Like you just mentioned. So.
Yeah, there really is, but there again, the social skills you learn in school are important.
They are just as important too. Yes.
I mean, you want to learn your whole set of social skills.
That's right. That's right.
And even you go back to you said learn at a young age. I learned about the business or the professional social skill early on.
Yeah.
About not getting too close to the people that you work with.
Yeah.
And that I know that sounds really bad, but that's kind of that's kind of how it has to be, especially in music, because you just have to be able to work with each other, and you can't let a friendship come between that, because in the end, you're there to work and you're making money. Yeah. And you have to put on a good show.
Yeah, you're exactly right with that. Yeah. Well, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we'll be talking with Avery about how to keep a balance between work and extracurricular activities in school. So don't go away. Welcome back to the Pondering Show here on WKUR 94.9, your country road. We're in the Don Franklin Chevy Buick GMC studio with Avery Bradshaw, and we've been talking about whether or not students should work and be involved in extracurricular activities while they're in school. So, Avery, we're going to throw this out here now. Do you think students do better in school if they work or participate in after-school activities?
Oh, now here is a controversial.
Here, I've threw it out.
You threw it out. Well, it all depends on the student to me.
Yes.
Some students operate at different levels than other ones.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm on the lower level
of
whatever it is. I promise.
Me too.
And working down here, I'll just be honest with you. I've kind of struggled to keep my grade point up. A lot. And now, do I regret that? No, I don't. I don't regret it. I hate that my grades sometimes have suffered because of work. But there again, I think work is such an important thing that I think it's okay. And there again, it all just depends on the student, really.
It does.
To me, There's some kids I've seen in our school that are just super geniuses.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they could work 25 jobs or something and still make straight A's.
Sleep 3 hours a night.
Yeah. Well, my girlfriend, she's one of those. I don't know what her ACT score is or anything, but she's really smart.
Yeah.
And she plays basketball.
Yes.
And I know that's got to be tough.
Boy, that's time consuming. Yeah.
Because if I practiced for 2 or 3 hours a day after school, I'd probably go home and sleep till the next day.
Yeah. Be wore out.
Yeah. But it just depends on your level of interest, I guess.
Yeah. And like you just mentioned here, what you can handle. And has there been times when you feel like working and trying to keep up with school has been too much to handle for you, or that you should try to do more than the other or something?
Oh yeah, especially I've done this Christmas show down here at Renfrew. I guess this was my third, fourth, something like that.
Yeah.
And especially during those kind of shows where you're doing a show almost every single day, that's when it gets to be a lot to handle for me. Now with the whole deal. For what I'm doing, most of my work is done on Fridays and Saturdays.
And weekends.
So it really doesn't bother me too bad.
Yeah.
But, if I had to work every day through the week and Friday and Saturday, it would probably be a little bit much for me to handle as far as, juggling that and school at the same time.
Juggle school.
Yeah.
And because it's important, and we're going to touch on this later, but, grades are important.
Yes.
And work's important too, and it's finding that balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance thing, and life is busy for everyone, and do you think working helps students learn how to find that balance and simply learn how to handle all the things going on in their life?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, and a lot of things that work can do can keep you out of things that you don't need to be doing in your life.
Too. Yes.
But back to the question there. Yeah, I think it'll help you find a really good balance, especially if you get into something you enjoy.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna want to do that as much as you can, and you're gonna want to do good in school, so you can keep doing what you can in the end.
Yeah.
Because kind of like with music, if you keep your grades up and you go to college and you get a good degree, but you're also playing music. Well, you can play music, and if you get lucky enough, you can make most of your money playing music.
Yeah.
But you've always got that to fall back on in school.
Exactly.
You don't want to drop out of high school to go play banjo somewhere.
That's right. Yeah. You want to keep your options open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think school is definitely the most important thing in the end, probably. But there's so many valuable things that you learn with working and getting out there in the world that I would definitely rate that like the second most important as far as growing up, what you should do.
Yeah, exactly. And think of it this way: when you're a student, and if you work, and if you're involved in clubs or whatever. When you get older, it kind of transforms, but you also are balancing a bunch of different things too. You work, you have a family, you have all these different responsibilities as well. So when you learn to balance all these different things at an early age, it helps to, you already know how to balance things when you get older already anyway.
Oh, yeah. And, as far as, the family life goes, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. Jinx, yeah.
Yeah. And I can't talk about that because I don't know. I don't have a wife and kids. But, I can imagine that would be that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And you have to definitely find time to be with them guys.
Yes.
A lot. And so, I don't know, as far as like with school goes, I don't know about having a family and having a job. That would be a lot to juggle.
Put strains on things.
It really would.
It does.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, when you learn, to juggle things at a young age, not necessarily the family yet, but just work and being in school, you learn how to juggle work and family once you graduate high school, college, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You've already learned that juggling ability.
And another thing and I don't know, I may be answering another question
you're fine. Go
on
ahead.
down the line with this one, but another thing you kind of learn to handle is money.
Oh, yes, yeah.
You know, and that's kind of the main goal with working, I assume.
Unfortunately, that's what life revolves around, it seems like.
Really, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bad thing to say, I guess, but that's kind of what it all boils down to in the end. You know, you got to make money at what you're doing, but you got to enjoy it, you know, too. You want to get into something that you can enjoy, but working definitely will help you, you know, create a money flow there coming into your life.
Yeah.
And what you choose to do with it, choose to spend it responsibly.
Yes.
Which is the best thing.
Teaches responsibility.
Yeah.
Too.
There you go.
Exactly.
And most of my money I reinvested into my music career. And you know that goes with my sound system, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, it's a thing that just keeps on revolving, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I've probably spent more money than I've ever made playing music, but you know, there again,
you got to spend money to make money.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
So one day maybe I'll make some money.
There you go. and we've kind of touched on this too already, but do you think working and participating in all these after-school activities helps students shine more on their college applications and, you know, resumes in the future too?
You know, I don't know about college applications. I'll tell you what I did for my college application. It took me about 10 minutes to fill it out online, and I didn't put anything about music on there.
Okay.
But you don't have to anymore, I don't guess.
They made it a lot easier when I went, because it was like having a kidney stone when I went.
Really?
So,
Did you go to UK?
I went to EKU.
Really?
But it was a very strenuous process when I went. Yeah, so it's very easy now.
It took me about 10 minutes online to apply to EKU, and I got accepted.
Well, okay.
I mean, it don't take anything anymore. It doesn't seem like. But, you know, so there again, I don't think working will help you get into college anymore. You know, maybe it might have looked good in the past. Now, I'm only talking about EKU
There's
applications.
different, I guess these Ivy League schools or wherever you want to go there.
Yes.
I don't know what you have to do to get into them.
Maybe if you're going to Harvard or something, you know. But now with the scholarships, for going to college, I bet that working would help on a lot of those.
Yes. And because there's all kinds of different requirements for each different scholarship.
Yes.
You know, and depending on which one you want to get. Now, there's different probably entertainment or music scholarships.
There are,
FFA scholarships or whatever it may be. And depending on your interests, you know, you can grow with that. So working and being involved in after-school activities kind of helps in that way, doesn't it?
And I know that there are a lot of, or at least a couple that I know of, scholarships for kids who have worked all the way through high school.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I get that would benefit you there. Now I don't know how much they are. They might only be $500 or $600 scholarships. But I tell you what, every penny counts.
Works. Every bit works. Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's so many different options out there. And for anybody that's listening with that, you know, Google and search and talk to all those guidance counselors. There is a lot of different things available.
Oh yeah, there are thousands of scholarships.
There is.
I mean, there's so many that don't get applied for.
There is. That's the sad thing about stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
But you know, and we'll go back to the other side of the question, like with resumes and getting jobs in the future. Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, that's a definite right there. And you know, I'll give you an example. You know, the resume that I've built with like my sound, the audio stuff that I do, you know, I could probably get a job with any kind of small band or even like a medium-sized band around, you know, doing sound or production work or something like that, because, you know, I've had the experience here at Renfro to do that.
Exactly. And see, if you look at it this way, yes, there is, you know, 4-year bachelor degrees that all fit that, you know, music, marketing, music this, music that. You take somebody that's not had the experience like you've had. They just go to college, they get that degree, they don't have an internship or nothing through college. They get out. I'll be honest, they can't find a job. And I'll be honest, and I've learned this from experience, from people I know and stuff, that degree don't matter. If you don't have they're looking for experience and that type of stuff. And if they're not like you and they don't have that experience from high school and college on up, they pass you right over.
Yeah.
If you don't have that experience.
That's the truth. I mean, you know, a lot of these bands, and even, you know, a place like Renfro, I don't know, but you know, if you've had 4 years experience working with a band or working in the entertainment industry, somehow marketing or whatever, they're going to pick you over, you know, whoever has a 4-year degree in marketing music or whatever. Well, and another thing is, those people that get the degrees, a lot of times they don't have any connections.
That's true. The networking part of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to have connections to get into, you know,
this
a
industry.
business. Yeah. You have to build those relationships as you go.
Yep.
And if you don't, you know, it's like you said, people come out of college, they've got this big music degree, and they're working at McDonald's.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. And that's the same in a lot of different industries. You know, I just thought of a guy that went through FFA and got some college agriculture degree, and he done all kinds of different stuff in FFA in college and worked and stuff, and he went somewhere in Indiana now and stuff, but he had this big, huge, extensive resume and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what it takes. And, you know, and for my personal experience, if I could go back in time, I would have been involved in everything. I would have been pounding the pavement and everything. Because I've learned now that I've done graduating and stuff that, you know, the more work experience, the more things you're involved in, more connections you make. In a lot of ways, it's just about on the same level as that degree. You know,
that's true.
And
you know, you can even get degrees in things like audio and studio stuff, but you know, if you don't have any experience doing it, you know, nobody's really
pass you up now.
Yeah, they're very iffy about you. You know, but say I've had, you know, 4 years experience working at some big studio in Nashville, but I don't have a degree. Well, who are they going to pick?
Yeah. And see, and this is, I'm not saying that, you know, education is not important, but and it's like you just mentioned starting out. It depends on what people want to accomplish in their life or what their goals are. You take somebody who wants to go to medical school, obviously their grades are going to be more important than anything in the world, because you got to have great grades to get into medical school, law school, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, they would be in the library or studying a lot more than people like us would be. You know? Yeah. You know, us, we're wanting that experience, that hands-on experience more.
Yeah.
And it's all different for everybody.
It is,
you know?
Yeah, and that, you know, people shouldn't be so quick to judge about the people who you know, don't keep up with their grades as much, because maybe they're, you know, they might be setting themselves up for something else.
Yeah.
And you know, school isn't for everybody. I mean, that's another thing I found.
Right.
You know, college isn't for everybody. You know, I think everybody should at least try it. But it isn't. It wouldn't be for everybody, I don't imagine.
Well, and I'm going to go back to this, and I tell you something that really impacted me in life is when Steve Jobs, man, that was he's an awesome guy.
Oh yeah.
But his 2005 commencement speech to Stanford University, he said, "You got to find what you love to do. It's as important as finding who you love. You got to find what you love to do for your work. So if you don't, you grow up being miserable."
Yeah.
You know, and what you love to do could be all kinds of different stuff, you know, but there's different career paths to get to it. And for some of these things, their career paths isn't college. And you know what? That's okay, you know?
Yeah.
And I think the society's kind of getting away from that. You know, it used to be, well, boy, you better go to college, you know. But now it's kind of getting away from that. If it's a technical school or something, well, some of these people get out of technical school and make $80,000 a year.
Oh yeah, they you know like diesel mechanics.
Yeah, you know,
and stuff like that. They even jobs like up at Toyota. You know, those guys make great money.
And if it's what they love, more power to them. You know, that's what I'm supportive of. Yeah. You know, you got to find what you love to do.
Yeah, because, you know, it's just like you said. If you don't love what you're doing, you're gonna be miserable.
Yeah, and I've known a lot of people in my life that's just miserable. You know. Yeah, they've made a living, they've, you know, supported a family and stuff, but they're just miserable, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, unfortunately, some of the things that people love to do don't make enough money.
Well, and that's the other issue, too.
Yeah. to be able to support themselves with it. And that's kind of where I think
it's
a hobby.
Issue. Yeah.
It's a hobby, and there's a big difference between a hobby and a career that you really enjoy.
There is.
And I think the people who have the hobbies, there's still a career out there for them that they would really enjoy.
That's true. Yeah. And who knows? And if you can find a career that matches your hobby, hey, that's even better.
That is, yeah. And maybe that doesn't match it to a T, but maybe you get to do some of your hobby in your career.
Yeah.
And that would be a pretty cool thing.
Exactly. And so coming down to it, our question of should students work and be in after school activities and stuff, and it all just depends on what the student wants out of life. But,
that's true.
It's good to get a well-rounded experience in one way.
It is.
Anybody is,
Yeah. It kind of goes back with the students who are studying to be like in medical school and law school. They're gonna miss out on a lot of the social stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe that's something that isn't as important to them as it is to me.
Because they're different. They got different goals in life and different things. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. It's all about what you want to do.
Yeah, it is.
It's all up to you.
Yeah.
We're able, to live in a really the greatest country in the world where we're able to make those decisions for ourselves.
Exactly. Because everybody's different in a way that, some people, they can work at a job they hate. But as long as they're supporting their family and their family's happy and they're loving their family and stuff, they're okay with it. And, if they're happy, then that's great, But now if they're not, and, find something else. It just all depends on what the person wants.
Yeah. And if you're in a job that you're not that happy with, but you're okay with it and you make good money, I mean, it's up to you.
That's right. It's up to them. If their goal in life is to make their family happy, then that's great.
Yeah.
I think just finding out early in life, early in high school, what you want out of life is the best, and that takes a well-rounded experiences, well-rounded education, a well-rounded everything, almost to do that.
Yeah, it really does, and that's just it's one of the most important things, I guess, in our lives. Is finding out what you want to do.
Yep. That's right,
and it's good to do it early on.
That's
I believe, from my experience.
And it's like I said, it's just different for everybody.
For sure.
And looks like we're about out of time. Is there anything else you want to add to this?
I believe I've about covered everything. I hope I haven't talked your leg off.
No, you haven't at all. No, I think it's been good.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show. I know. My grandparents are listening out there. I want to give them a shout out.
That's right.
Bobby and June Taylor. Appreciate them listening to WKUR a lot. And
yes.
Yeah. And just appreciate you letting me be on the show.
Thank you for coming on. And like I say, I think this has been a good, informative show.
Yeah.
And
I hope so. I hope somebody's got something out of it.
And we'll see people can take their own thing from it. And just like I said, just whatever you want to get out of life, go get it.
Yeah.
I guess that's how I explain it.
And parents, be open with what your kids want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and also push them to try different things. That's where a lot of that stuff comes from too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But I want to once again thank you for coming in, Avery,
I appreciate it.
Thank everybody for listening.